Hi, this is Dr. George from jingherbs.com, and today we're going to be making indulgent, healthy reishi brownies. And anything with reishi in it has my attention right away. So the first ingredient that we're going to use is 3 cups of organic raw walnuts. And walnuts, if you look at the law of signatures, looks very much like a brain. So in traditional Chinese medicine, walnuts are a kidney yang tonic that benefit the endocrine system and the brain. It also has L-arginine in it, which is really good for the heart. So we'll pour in the 3 cups of walnuts. Okay, so the next ingredient, 2/3 cup of raw cacao. And of course, this is the chocolate flavor, and cacao also has resveratrol in it, which is one of those amazing antioxidants, and it also has theobromine in it, and that's the ingredient that really makes you happy when you have chocolate. So we'll put in the 2/3 cup of cacao powder. Okay, now the next ingredient is going to be 1/2 cup of dried raisins. And if you don't want to use raisins, you can use any dried fruit that you prefer. You can use cherries, you can use goji berries, you can use apricots, whatever you really like. But we're using this certainly as a good sweetener, but the moisture is also going to help bind the batter together. So we'll put in the raisins. Okay, so our next ingredient is going to be 1/4 cup of raw organic coconut nectar. And we're using coconut nectar because, number one, it's really rich in minerals. Look at how dark this is. It's also a great liquid sweetener, and this again is going to help this batter bind together. Now, if you don't really like to use this particular sweetener, you could also use maple syrup if you prefer that better, or any other kind of sweetener of your choice. And if you want to leave out the sweetener altogether, this kind of liquid sweetener, then what you can do is you can just double the amount of the dates that you put in it. And that's going to be our next ingredient. We're going to use 7 to 8 pitted, make sure they're pitted, medjool dates. And of course, as with the raisins too, great source of vitamin C, minerals, and also really good because this is going to give you fiber. And fiber is also going to help you not raise the glycemic index. It really slows down the absorption of the sugars in these fruits. So that's a really good thing to use. Okay, now my favorite part, the next one, the tonic herbs. So we're going to use 1 tablespoon of reishi powder. And reishi is really going to help offset the sweetness of this also, because reishi has that bitter. So you're going to get that really rich chocolate flavor, but it's going to be that bittersweet flavor. Reishi will lend that to it. And of course, reishi is going to open the heart. So it's really an amazing Shen tonic. It makes this recipe really good for celebrations and great times with family and friends. And the next herb we're going to use is 1 tablespoon of hoshiwu. Now, hoshiwu is also a really good blood tonic, but it's also a kidney yin tonic. So this is very nourishing. And hoshiwu, again, the flavor of hoshiwu is maybe a little bit toward the sort of like the nutty flavor a little bit. So it's going to add another little element to it. Okay, and then lastly, we're going to have 1/8 of a teaspoon of like a big pinch of salt. And whenever you have a sweet dish, you're going to want to add salt to it because it really will bring out the flavor profiles of all the other ingredients in there. And of course, you know, it's like the salt is the spice of life. So you're adding that to the recipe also. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put on the lid. And when you put this on in the food processor, what you want to look for is that you want this mixture just to start forming. You don't want to over process it, so it'll really stick all together. But as soon as you see that it's starting to clump, then we'll open it up and we'll check it to see that it's forming the batter that we want. Okay? So here we go. Okay, so let's check to see if the batter is forming, and it looks pretty good. It's sticking together. All right, yeah, this is great. So this is perfect. It's holding together. This is just what you want. So the last ingredient that we're going to actually add to that, these are the cacao nibs. All right, and what we're going to do is we're just going to incorporate these in a very, very short pulse, because this is going to give you that nice crunch. It's going to be a counterpoint to the chewiness and the real nice texture of the brownies. So we're going to give this just a quick pulse. And that's good enough. Okay? All right, so here we go. All right, so now you're going to take a 9x9 baking pan, and you can line it with plastic wrap, and what you want to do is you just want to overlap the edges so that they're about half the width of the pan going over. All right, and you just take the batter, and let's remove this. Okay, so we'll just pour the batter into the pan. All right. And you can just spread it out, even it out a little bit, like this. Okay, and then you're going to fold these flaps over. And just press nice and evenly along the whole pan. Get it into the corners so that it's nice and even. And if you didn't want to do it with the plastic wrap, okay, what you could do is you could actually, after you have the batter in the pan, if you have some coconut oil, all right, you can just put the coconut oil on the tips of your fingers. Okay, and you can just, spread it out like this. But this is a really convenient and efficient way of doing it. Okay, so here it is. It's all ready. It's all ready to go into the refrigerator. And what you can do is you can stick this in the refrigerator. I would say in about 2 hours, it will probably be set up. All right, and you can cut it, you bring it out, and you can cut it into about 9 squares out of this pan, okay? If you didn't want to use it immediately, you could put it in the freezer, and it can actually keep for months, all right? And so I want to show you what the finished product looks like. We have some that we did earlier, and here they are. They're beautiful. And let's taste one. And they're so rich. Wow. Wow. This is so rich and chewy and chocolatey. And the reishi flavor comes up, which is my favorite part, of course. This is really, really amazing. A great recipe. Share with the family for occasions. It's really amazing. And of course, with the reishi, this is a formula that really opens the heart and makes you glad. And remember something about desserts. Desserts should actually remind you about the sweetness of life. That's what it's all about. So, if you have any questions about this recipe or any other questions about herbs, you can send them to info@jingherbs.com. And of course, If you want to know how your three treasures are doing, you can go to jingherbsanalysis.com. And until next time, be well.